Hello there, welcome to your favorite show, PM Personality Profile. My guest tonight, former local government minister, former Eastern Regional Minister. He is a former member of parliament for the Fantiakwa constituency, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, currently chairman of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC. Good to see you, Chairman.
Good to see you too.
What have you been up to? I haven't seen you. You've been off media space for some time now, trying to reposition the party for 2024?
Exactly. It's a strategy. The strategy is to do what I call submarine politics.
Okay.
And in submarine politics, you try to go underground and do a lot of things. So I've been doing a lot of traveling, a lot of movements, because it's about reorganization, and reorganization about strategy. And strategizing means that you need to keep your strategy very close to your chest. And so very little, you draw very little attention to yourself and try to achieve exactly what you want to achieve. Exactly. We are doing that because after the 2020 election, we went through a number of processes. We went through a national retreat, we went through regional retreat, we went through constituency retreat, and we've gotten the reports of the various retreats. And so we are implementing some of the recommendations, and we have moved to the implementation stage of our reorganization. And so for the past 1 month or so, we have begun the exercise of replacement of our ID cards and registration of new members. We hope that by the close of this month, the exercise will come to an end, and in July, we will begin election of our branch officers, which will culminate into constituency elections, and then we'll do regional elections and eventually do our national elections. Our timetable is such that by the end of November, we should have been able to put our new national executives in place. Then the 4-year tenure of the present executive would have ended, and new executive would have taken over the running of the party.
2024 may seem very far, but it's actually closer to us. How has the preparation been so far?
Yeah, so far we are on course because we are guided by the party constitution. And as I indicated, we have a mandate up to the end of November. We were elected in November 2018, and we have a 4-year mandate. So by November ending 2022, our tenure of office would have come to an end. And so we need to work from that period to ensure that all the processes leading to the National Congress takes place, and then by November, the National Congress will take place to elect new officers to run the affairs of the party. Okay. And so that's exactly what we are doing.
Will you go for a rerun?
Well, definitely I will.
Okay.
I believe that having taken the party from a position where when I took over this party, we had gone into an election whilst in government and lost about 53 seats and lost of over 1 million votes. And within a space of less than 2 years, we were able to work so hard to increase our popular votes by almost 2 million and increase our parliamentary seats from 106 to 137. I mean, with some contending seats still being litigated in the law courts. We've pushed parliament into a hung parliament now, the first time in the history of the Fourth Republic. I think that we've done very well, and we have the strategies and the tactics that were adopted to achieve this. And so what we need is to straighten the rough edges, plug the loopholes, and ensure that going into 2024 we win with a resounding victory. So I will definitely put myself out And I believe that the delegates, when the time comes, it is too early to declare that, but when the time comes, the power to decide whether I continue or not resides in the hands of the delegates. But I know the NDC delegates, they don't make mistakes. They know who are capable of winning and leading them to win elections. So when the time comes, I believe that we'll make the appropriate statements and they will respond appropriately.
To those
and we'll move the party forward.
I wish you all the best when the time comes. But let's talk about the man Ofosu-Ampofo, born in Chebi, schooled in Asaman Kese. Is that where you hail from?
No. I hail from Chebi, Sikem. My father is partly from Chebi, Sikem, and partly from Akropong.
Okay.
My mother hails from Enum, but they have been living in Achim for all this while.
Okay.
And so that is why I started school.
So Enum means she's an Equapim or something like
Guan,
that?
I mean, more or less Guan.
Okay, so which dialect do you speak?
That is the Enum is a language. It's a language.
I see, okay.
It's a Guan language, but generally I'm more inclined to the Achim area, because even my mother and others were born in Achim, and so you can imagine, I mean, they have all become Achim people. My father is an Achim person. Half of the parents come from Akropong.
So the president is actually your brother?
Well, if you look at the chemistry, then it will mean that the president is Akropong and Chebi. And I'm also Akropong and Chebi.
So you're brothers?
The chemistry.
Why are you opposing each other?
Well, you
should
ask.
be in his camp.
Oh, no. I mean, if you check, you realize that Ajay Mafo and Osafo Mafo, they come from the same womb.
But
Dr. Ajay Mafo is NDC, Osafo Mafo is MPP. So, I mean, that is the beauty of politics. Yeah.
Okay, so you were born in Chebi.
Yes.
And you schooled in Asaman Kese.
Yes.
That means that you grew up in Chebi or in Asaman Kese?
My schooling really took place in Asaman Kese.
Okay.
So I completed the elementary school there.
How old were you when you left Chebi? And why didn't you even school there?
My father used to be a state farms manager.
Okay.
And so he used to work at state farms at Chebi Sikem. And then later on was transferred to Asaman Kese. Okay. And Asaman Kese too, they had farms at a place called Tupiasi and Kwashi, I mean on the Odan Road. And so when you get there now, you will see that they've planted a rubber plantation. Around that time it was palm plantation. Okay. But later on they developed it into a rubber plantation. And so he was a state farm manager there. Okay. So anytime my father is transferred, I had to follow. And so I followed him to Asaman Kese, where I continued my schooling as Asaman Kese Anum, LA,
primary,
middle school. I started Form 1 there, and then ended my elementary school there. I completed. I went through the cyto system, you know. So I completed
morning and afternoon shift.
No. We didn't go through the morning afternoon shift. Okay. But I think I completed school around 15 years. So that should tell you that we used 10 years. And so I started around five years. Okay. I completed around 15, 16 years.
As a little boy growing up, what kind of environment would you say Asaman Kese was? So how would you describe the environment?
Well, it was a very interesting place. Very busy market-oriented community with a lot of activities there. And a very lively place, I mean, so to speak. Okay. I enjoyed my stay there, schooling, and then sometimes following my father to work when we were on holidays, and which eventually I developed interest in farming and agriculture which has made me a farmer as part of all that I do.
Okay, so you're actually a farmer.
I'm a farmer. I've been into farming for over 25 years.
Oh, wow.
I do all sorts of farming.
Okay.
I've been in poultry farming for over 25 years. I'm into crop farming. I'm into citrus. I'm into piggery. I've done everything that one can talk about in farming. And so I've been in farming for over 25 years.
What are your fond memories of Asamankase as a little boy?
Asamankase as a little boy, I was a shoeshine boy.
Okay, tell me more about that.
I was a shoemaker and a shoeshine boy, trying to do it as a pastime and trying to earn some living from it. And I remember very well when I was in Form 4, I was a senior prefect. And at the same time, I was polishing the shoes of my juniors just to take something small.
Okay.
Especially when we are going into 6 match and everybody had to shine their shoes to ensure that we present ourselves very well. When I do the announcement, I say everybody should shine their shoes. And you know what that means.
You know that somebody will come.
Bring it up. And,
but that means you couldn't punish them, because if you punished me, I would not give you my shoes.
Well, as for the
polish.
discipline, it was there. I mean, around those times, you know that it was a period where there was a lot of discipline in school. And so if you are senior prefect, you are highly respected and feared, because if you are disobeyed, I mean, even in the open sun, you can be asked to kneel down at assembly, and then you will have to obey.
Okay.
And so those are the exciting times of being a student leader. And again, in Samankase, where I was living, our house was also a clubhouse. They called it a tourist club. Those who know Samankase in those days, in the early mid-70s.
Okay.
Tourist Club was a very interesting place where people come and drink and make merry. And so, whilst at it, we come back from school and then we try to also give a helping hand and serve the people who come in, and then you get some small tips and others. And, you know, so it makes it very, very interesting. And as a result, you make friends older friends, and I mean, people tend to like me, and some of the senior people who were holding positions in public offices will call me and say, oh, this weekend come to my bungalow and study and do all sorts of things. It assisted me and encouraged me, and they encouraged me to study, and so I had very good grades in my common entrance, and you know. So it was very exciting around that time.
I'm sure there were troubles as well. It wasn't all rosy. Were there moments that you will never forget, even at this age, still fresh in your mind?
Well, around that time, I had to combine house chores with schooling.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you close from school, you need to attend to extra classes because you are going to write common entrance, and you have to balance between staying in school to attend to those extra classes or rush back to come and pound the fufu. And so if you don't pound the fufu and you come back, either you come and meet your cassava head, your plantain waiting for you. So those were some of the, the downside, but it all taught us very good lessons, because sometimes you stick to the principle that, look, I want to put my education first. So if I'll miss my fufu because of extra classes, let me miss the fufu.
As a kid, you actually did that?
Kids
would not do that. They would prefer the food.
No, I did. I did. In some cases, I did.
Wow.
Yes.
So then from Asamankase, then you proceeded to Akwetia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I proceeded to Akwetia Technical Institute. Actually, my aim all along was to become an engineer. And so I went to Akwetia Technical Institute to study mechanical engineering. Little did I know that around that time, the technical education as it was by then did not afford one the opportunity to climb higher the level as one would have thought.
Okay.
And so it got to a point that you realize that if you are not careful, you will be missing the ambition that you set for yourself. But I was not deterred. So I completed around that time what we call the intermediate certificate. I had the opportunity around that time. The Takwa School of Mines by then were doing technician programs in mechanical engineering and mining engineering and others, and I went there and continued my schooling there. And from there on, I came back to also pursue a course in education.
Okay.
University of Education. Now they call the University of Education Winneba Campus in Kumasi. But by that time, the name was Kumasi Advanced Technical Teachers College. That is where I did my education.
Okay.
And then taught at St. Paul's Technical School.
Oh, you were a teacher too?
In Kukrantumi.
How was it like being a teacher?
Oh, it was interesting because I love teaching. I love talking. So I think that my students can describe me as a very good teacher.
Were you a pupils teacher or?
No, I started as non-professionals.
Okay.
And later on did a professional and became a professional teacher. So at that time I was a senior superintendent of education. And I was a general engineering form master, and I was teaching mechanical engineering at St. Paul's Technical Institute.
Okay. So whilst at Akwetia, were you a bad boy?
I wasn't a bad boy, so to speak. I was brought up under strict German Presbyterian discipline.
Okay. What is that all about?
Yeah. When you meet those who say German Presbyterian discipline, it means that firm and fair training by our parents. And so that's what they call German Presbyterian discipline. Okay. And I was brought up within a Christian community. And so no wonder when I went to Akwetia, I eventually became the Scripture Union member. Okay. And ended up becoming the SU president. And at the same time, the SRC president.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I see. So at Akwetia, what were some of the expeditions that you engaged in as a young boy? I mean, once a boy, always a boy.
Well, it was interesting because St. Rose's was also in Akwetia.
You know?
And so on Saturdays, we want to take a Ziat and try and visit to go and see how the saints are doing. Okay. And I remember very well that the Roman sisters were always there to ensure that there is always a distance between the saints and whoever comes close. Even if it's entertainment, they try to use the measurement to place the distance between the female and the male. That was the interesting aspect of it.
Okay. And are you saying that, I mean, you never found yourself in any trouble, maybe because you joined some bad company, or was it smooth sailing?
As for trouble, I don't think that I got myself into trouble because I was always very careful. I was playing leadership role. Okay. So I always want to show by example in terms of leadership what I could bring to bear on student leadership and become a mentor for others to follow me. So generally, I don't think that I was a bad boy, even though at a point in time, you have to join the Samambo group and then do all sorts of things.
Which one is the Samambo group?
Oh, I mean, it's like going to play soccer matches and others, and the Jama group and others. You will see the scripture, president also as part of the Jama group, leading them to,
sharing.
I was easygoing, mixing with both sides, and that has been my lifestyle all along.
So you had a girl at St. Rose's, and you had to go visit her all the time.
Oh, as SU president, I just had friends, but not guests.
Friends.
Yes, and also, I was brought. I mean, my Christian upbringing was very strong, and it influenced the way that I live my life. So, to a very large extent, there were certain things that people did during their student lives. I managed to keep myself out of those troubles.
Okay. So God helped you to stay away from this. I was
always praying that God should help me not to lead me into temptation. So I try to avoid temptation as much as possible.
So what kind of a student were you?
Well, I was a very studious person in terms of my studies.
Okay.
And I must say that I was always on top of my class. And try to provide support for others and bring them up. And I wasn't that selfish person who says that I'm doing it alone. So whatever I know, I try to share it with people.
Okay.
And that has been my lifestyle all along.
In Akwatia, what would you describe as the most challenging moment?
Challenging moment is to blend secular and Christian life together, being a student leader.
It was difficult.
And being a scripture union president was very difficult.
Yeah.
Because at a certain time, when there are agitation and you need to lead student agitation, and the food is not good, and there has to be some demonstration, and you have to lead those demonstration, then you need the balancing yourself. As to people expected that, oh, you are the person who will come and tell us not to embark on this, and you are the same person who is leading. So balancing yourself within that context wasn't very easy. But I managed to meander my way through those difficult moments, and then I came out very successful.
So then from there, you Kumasi Polytechnic, then to University of Mines to do mechanical engineering.
Yes.
Then you proceeded to GIMPA to do public administration?
Yes.
Or education?
In natural fact, I did education first.
Okay.
And then it was when I was teaching at St. Paul's that I had a call to do politics.
Okay.
So I was moved from the classroom, and I was called in 1993 to become a district chief executive for the Fantiakwa district.
Okay.
So in Fantiakwa, between 93, 94, up to 96, then I contested election in 96. And then I was elected as a member of parliament and came to parliament January 1997. So it was in 1997 that I was appointed as a deputy minister for the Eastern region.
Okay.
And so whilst at the Eastern region as a deputy minister, I decided that once I am in the public service now, there's a need for me to hone my skills in terms of public administration. So I enrolled at GIMPA and then did their postgraduate certificate in public administration.
Okay.
And I combined it with work. And I mean, those ones, you go there about 3 weeks and then you come back. And so I managed to do that one whilst I was still working as a deputy minister and member of parliament until we lost the election in 2000.
Okay.
So when we lost the election in 2000, I decided to again come to GIMPA to do the postgraduate diploma in public administration.
Okay.
And that one too, I did it and became very successful. Then I won, even though we lost the election in 2000, I won my second term in Parliament. And so I came to Parliament for the second time. And so I managed to finish my postgraduate diploma. And I also did my second term in Parliament. And that was the time that I was contested, whilst in Parliament, also contested as a national organizer of the NDC.
Okay.
In the year 2002,
Okay.
at a Congress, National Congress that was held at La Trade Fair.
Yeah.
And so I doubled up as both a national organizer and MP. And as a result of that, I decided to concentrate more on the national politics. And so in 2004 elections, even though as national organizer, I was persuaded to go back and contest again for the parliamentary. I couldn't concentrate much on the parliamentary elections, and so I lost my third bid to go into Parliament. And so I then concentrated all my effort at the national level until we managed, together with my other colleagues, to lead Professor Mills to win the 2008 elections. When we won the 2008 elections, I was appointed by the late Professor Mills to go back to the Eastern region, this time around as a substantive regional minister. So I was in the Eastern region for 2 years, and after 2 years, I was promoted and appointed to cabinet status and brought to Accra as the local government minister.
Okay.
It was during that time that I was recommended by somebody. I can't remember exactly the person who recommended me, but the Hagar Institute in Hawaii, where they train Christian leaders, gave me an opportunity to go and do a specialized studies in Christian leadership at Hawaii Institute. It was a very interesting place that I met quite a number of people. In fact, it was, I think, that place that I came so close to the former First Lady, Mrs. Fulera Liman.
Okay.
She was my coursemate at Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
And she was also at that program. It was very interesting. We developed a lot of skills in Christian leadership. And then came back and continued the work that I was doing. Then around that time, I decided also to do further studies. And so I enrolled at the University of Birmingham to do a master's program in
leadership,
public administration and development at the University of Birmingham for 2 years, which I also successfully completed in 2013. After the 2012 elections, I was not retained as a minister, and so whilst whiling away, I decided to go back to Gimpa again to try my hands on another master's degree program.
Okay.
Those were the times that we were spending a lot more time at the Supreme Court. Those were the time that the 2012 election was being litigated at the Supreme Court. So I took advantage and enrolled at Gimpa and did another master's in public administration. And I also completed that one successfully.
Wow.
And so as I speak to you now, I wanted to complete the whole cycle in the public administrative realm. And so today I have completed the 4 years coursework, the full coursework of the PhD in public administration. I've done my thesis. Any moment from now, my final work will be assessed. And hopefully before the end of the year or thereabout,
Then
I think I will.
the doctor title will follow. Oh, I'm so happy.
Even though I've been conferred
Okay.
with a number of doctorate degrees,
Okay.
this one is the one that I have worked with.
Proper academic.
Which will be conferred on me.
Congratulations. You've done
really,
really well. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, he's the chairman of the National Democratic Congress, and he's my guest tonight. I'm really enjoying the conversation with the chairman. When I return from this break, remember he's gone through the cycle. He's been DCE, he's been deputy minister, he's been minister, he's been a member of parliament, and he's served at the party level. He'll be sharing his experiences from these offices, plus bring his expertise to bear on politics and the economy in general. He would also be talking about his family life, religious life, and lifestyle. Stay with me, I'm coming right back. Welcome back to PM Personality Profile. My guest told Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, chairman of the NDC. Let me ask you this. I mean, did it ever cross your mind growing up that you would ever become a politician?
It's I would say yes and no.
Okay.
No, because I don't have any politician in my family.
Okay.
Even though my father tells me that he was a stand CPP person and was supporting CPP, but I mean, when we were growing up, the CPP and others were no longer there. But yes, because when I went to school, all along, I realized that there's some leadership trait in me.
Okay.
That any time that I get to my peers and it comes to the question of leadership, unanimously something happens.
Okay.
And they say, oh, primary school, you were senior prefect. Middle school, you were senior prefect. Secondary school, you were senior prefect. At the Polytechnic, you were SRC president.
Okay.
At the UST School of Mine, you were JCR secretary. And then so on and so forth. So gradually, and I remember very, very that at Akwetia Technical Institute when we formed the GBC fan club. And then the likes of Godnavenago and others were coming to talk to us and trying to encourage us to play some responsible role in the society and others. It started giving me the indication that there are certain things that we can also do. Then again, when the revolution was launched, 1979 and 1981, I took interest in it because I was inspired by former President J.J. Rawlings. I was really inspired by his spirit of nationalism, patriotism, encouragement for people to go into security and others. So in my own small community, trying to lead the people to do communal labor and others, joining the cadres and doing, trying to organize people to clean our own environment and do all those things. And so gradually, I realized that I was building my capacity from the grassroots. So it was no wonder that I was teaching one day when I was called and informed that I have caught the eyes of the president, and he has asked some people to come and see me because they want to appoint me as a DC chief executive. So it was as a result of the community work and the role that I played in the early part of the revolution, which perhaps brought out my innate leadership qualities to people.
So, growing up, what really did you want to become?
My passion was the engineering that I chose.
Okay.
And later on, when I went into teaching, I was excited about teaching because my students were very happy with me.
Okay.
And I was combining the teaching. And again, I was along the line also doing the work of God. I'm a member of the Church of Pentecost. At a point in time, I was ordained an elder of the church. Then I became a presiding elder, and I was presiding over a church, and I was teaching my students, and we decided to put up a church building, and I will carry my students who are building, technology students, to go and support me to put up the church. Those who are doing electrical engineering will help to go and do the wiring. Those who are doing carpentry and joinery will help me to roof it. And so I took advantage of the students, and then we put up a church building. Beautiful, all of them were included. And they were also excited because when I take them over the weekend to go and do the project, the kind of tools that we make for them is enough motivation for everybody to want to accompany me to go to the project site and then go and do this thing to support it. So these are some of the things that really spice up the kind of work that I was doing alongside the teaching, also trying to also participate actively in the work of the church.
Have you ever regretted being a politician?
I don't think I have regretted being a politician. Simply because I believe that the space that my involvement in politics have created has enabled me to make some positive impact on the lives of some people and a lot of communities that I have served. For instance, when I went to Fantiakwa as DC Chief Executive, there were only 5 communities connected with electricity. By the time I left there, over 35 communities had been connected with electricity. And several other communities which were not close to the national electrification grid were connected with solar power. There were several communities without good drinking water. And I managed to get them either borehole, small water services and all those things. I remember very well that the district capital, Fantiakwa, Begro, did not have a hospital. And it's a big community. And so any complication had to go to Koforidua. It's quite a distance, and a lot of people were dying. By the time they get to Koforidua, it's a bad case. So I was determined to get them a hospital. And I must say, to the glory of God, that it was during my tenure of office that one of the modern district hospitals was built for the Begro community, which is serving as the district hospital for the Fantiakwa district now. And several lives had been saved as a result of the hospital.
So as minister, was there no time when, the thing has gotten hot and the usual bashing was coming, that you fell down and you asked yourself, why did I even put myself in this?
Well, it has been happening. As for that one, in politics, sometimes you meet difficult situation. You meet the height of treachery and conspiracies and others against you.
It's not easy.
And so sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult. Sometimes you ask yourself why. But, if you don't do it, who should do it? So those times have been there. There was a time that I was serving as a deputy minister to one of the most respected women that I have encountered. She was my regional minister. Her name is Miss Patience Ado. Those who are a little old know that she was the Eastern Regional Minister. And I was her deputy. I served her so diligently, so faithfully, that one day she publicly said that, as for this, my deputy, he's like a pillow.
Wow.
That I can sleep on and sleep soundly.
Wow.
Then along the line one day, she called me very furiously, almost weeping, that the report has reached her that I'm undermining her.
Wow.
To take
her position.
This is one of the saddest, events in my life. I broke down.
Really got to
and
you.
Wept.
Goodness.
When I say, Madam, I've taken you as my mother, and this is the last thing that I will do against you. Perhaps because of the dedicated services and the trust that you have in me, people have to come and manufacture lies and draw a wedge between
the
us.
two of you.
And so it is never true, and I will not do that. We are all Christians. I wish I could swear by any deity or whatever it is, but the Bible tells us that we should not swear by anything. So I can't swear, but I can only tell you the truth, that I will never, by any stretch of imagination, do anything to undermine you. Thank God we were able to live harmoniously together until our tenure came to an end and we lost the election.
Okay.
And I must say that even though she's no more, the bond between us has been extended to the family. To the extent that when her children travel and come down from abroad to Ghana here, I provide them with everything. I give them a vehicle, I give them a driver, I take care of their running rounds and everything, and we have become a family after now. And so in politics, sometimes you are bound to meet some of these challenges. But I have a philosophy in life, and my philosophical saying is that there is no pillow as soft as clear conscience. Once you have clear conscience, you can sleep and sleep well, because you know that whatever is being thrown at you will not stick, because truth always triumphs and truth stands.
I'm sure the days of those controversies, the kidnapping allegation, the criminal conspiracies also got you, really. Well,
it got me, but I'm still strong, because in my innermost past, I know that there is no truth in it.
Yep.
Because, I mean, I was crucified in the media, so many things were, but I have never said anywhere that people should be kidnapped.
Yep.
And even, I'm still before court. There's no charge of kidnapping against me. But people have managed to conspire and created the impression that I was saying that people should be kidnapped. And so more or less you go on the social media, and then one of the things that anytime that I go and speak anywhere, my detractors will say, oh, elder kidnapper. Elder kidnapper. Meanwhile, I have never said anywhere that
they should kidnap
anybody. I have been accused of conspiring to burn markets. I have never conspired with anybody to burn markets. I have rather built a lot of markets. From my time as a DC chief executive, I built several markets in Fantiakwa. Then I became a regional minister. I also supervised in building markets. In fact, there is a beads market in Koforidua where I moved those who sell beads and then put them somewhere that today when you go to Koforidua, near the cultural center, they said, I managed to get this thing there. I became a local government minister. The KJTR market, which President Mahama, Mills initiated, President Mahama came and completed. I was a local government minister, together with the Honorable Sapon, who was KMA chief executive, who initiated the project. And so, through our ministry, we built market under President Mahama, Kotokraba market, and a whole lot of things were done. I have built markets. Nobody has credited me for building markets. Then some faceless people went somewhere and said that, oh, the national chairman of the NDC says that we should go and burn some markets. I never saw those people. They never brought my accusers before me to come and tell me that this is the man who asked us. They just came and showed me some pictures of people that I don't know. But they circulated this thing into the public domain, and it has created a wrong and erroneous impression that I burn market. I don't burn market. I am a very peaceful person. I like development. I love human beings. I love to see people living in peace. And so my children will always say that, as for our daddy, if you even ask him to come and beat us, he will beat us. Because I'm not a violent person. So, I mean, sometimes you can be persecuted through propaganda and all names be given to you. But people who are close to me and know what I stand for and what I represent will tell you that I'm not the sort of person that... You know, one of the things that strengthened me, in all these challenging moments, one day I had a note from my children. They wrote to me and say, Daddy, you do not fit the description of the person who is being prosecuted.
Wow.
We stand by you because we know that you are not the person. That one alone was enough for me. Because you see, if anybody should know you better, it is your wife and your children.
They are always with you.
And they know me. And so
this one too shall pass.
As for that one, I have to go and pay royalties to somebody before I say this too shall pass. So I won't say it.
As former local government minister, let me ask you this. What would you prefer as solution to our perennial flooding? Recently, it's been very worrying, and we think our situation has even gone worse.
Well, I think what we lack is the political will to execute bylaws that have been promulgated by the various metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. And also flouting of building regulations. You know the challenge we are facing. One of the challenges we are facing with the intensity of the flooding situation is the fact that the green belts that were reserved in several parts of the city where houses were not supposed to be built over the past few years have all been converted into development areas. You see the motorway, alongside the motorway, from the toll booth, across side of the toll booth, from the East Legon police station, all the way there were green belt. No development was taking place there. Then even around Abattoir here, all the way to where they have built the Toyota service center. And then along the line there were all green belts, which were not supposed to be developed into either industrial area or housing development. Again, when we are going towards Ayimensa and you look up the hill, all the way to Peduase Lodge, we're all green belt. Today, all the forest cover is being removed, and people are putting up houses there. So the least rains cannot be contained by the soil because the soil has been exposed. And even these houses, when we build them, we do concrete pavement. And so the rainwaters cannot settle and go to the ground. So they have to find their way out. So if we don't do something about this and we continue, I mean, on the way to Dodowa, from Afienya police station, the right side, the left side were all green belts. Now filling stations have been constructed and the whole place has been developed. So we have destroyed all the green belts which were supposed to give us some level of protection. That is why I am very, very surprised at the news of declassification of the Achimota forest, because perhaps it is the only forest area that we have that could save us from environmental catastrophe, because all the carbon monoxide and others that we generate, it is the forest that will absorb it and then generate some oxygen for us to be able to balance have that ecological balance that we need to survive as human beings. And so to go and attempt to also develop the Achimota forest again into human habitation is for me unacceptable. And I think that the call by several members of the public and civil society organizations and others for the president to change his mind and keep the forest intact for future generation is a call in the right direction. What we need is to enforce building regulations. For instance, the time is coming where we need to discourage the pavement of households. The pavement of households, and rather encourage that when you build a house, rather grass the house
instead of
the compound, grass the compound, so that it can absorb the rainwater and be able to seep into the grounds and reduce the level of flooding that is caused as a result of the rainwater that is unable to find anywhere to go. But, you know.
As a former Article 71 holder, let me ask you, there's been this debate about whether we should scrap ex gratia and the relevance of the Council of State. First, what's your take on this? Should ex gratia be scrapped?
Well, if you ask me, for instance, members of parliament who go to parliament for a specific period of time, I would say that we can maintain their ex gratia, because somebody who abandons whatever he's doing to go to parliament and serve for 4 years, if the person is unable to go back to parliament again, that is the end of the person's public life. Sometimes you cannot go back again to pursue the kind of work that you were pursuing. To that extent, I would say that it will be good to maintain the payment of ex gratia. I rather will think that those who keep on repeating, I mean, you go to parliament, you are re-elected, we'll have to take a second look at it, whether we should not wait until when you are exiting and you are not coming again. And then others, like those in the judiciary and others, who I'm told that for every 4 years they are paid their ex gratia, whilst they are still there and they retire at 70 and some of them at 65 and others. We have to take a second look at it.
And the issue of Council of State, has it outlived its purpose?
Council of States would have served the nation better, but for the fact that the composition of the council and the number of appointees that are appointed by the government of the day, and the mode of even electing the representatives. You know, we have observed the election of Council of State members at the regional level, and sometimes it is bizarre. So at the end of the day, it is reduced to politics. Then you have a situation where all the people who go there as a result of political patronage. If that happens, then the expectation that they can stand, impartially and give the kind of advice that one would expect them to give, perhaps they will not be able to live up to the public expectation. I also feel that the Council of State may be doing themselves a lot of good if they improve upon the public relation outfit of the council, for them to inform the public exactly what they do. What are some of the advice that they give to the president?
It's even not binding.
Well, it's even not binding because, I mean, I have been asking, for instance, that if His Excellency the President decides to dump the presidential jet and spend so much money renting private jet and moving up and down, what advice the council gives? The council should come and tell us. We have called him and advised him, and he has refused to take our advice. Then people will know that, look, the Council of State have done something.
But
and
that won't also be unlawful because the Constitution says it's not binding on the president.
Well, but I'm saying that then this kind of bashing that they are getting, and people are even creating the impression that it is not a useful body in our governance architecture, could be diffused if the interface between the council and the public is deepened, and the public gets a clearer understanding of what the council does, and they appreciate the input and contribution of the council as far as our governance system is concerned. Then perhaps this whole notion that it has outlived its usefulness, it is not useful in our governance architecture, and that can be scrapped and others, they need to do more in terms of deepening their relationship with the public. They can also, once a while, be also organizing public fora to let the public know what the council does.
Okay.
And then perhaps when they do that, it will reduce the kind of negative perception that the general public is gradually forming against the council.
What do you make of using state funds to support the building of the cathedral?
I personally don't have any problem when somebody decides that I want to build a cathedral or I want to build a church. I know several businessmen and other entrepreneurs who, when God blesses them, even in their hometown, they go and build, churches and as a gift to their communities, several across the country. Recently, I think Tobinko lost their mother, and I've been told that when they went and buried her, their community, he built a church. I stand for correction, but either he built a church or contributed significantly in building the church. I know there was a man at a brew in Ekuapem long time ago who built a church and donated it to the community. Several people have been doing it. So if you have a covenant with your God and you want to build a church or a cathedral, I have no problem with it. No qualms at all with it. However, with regard to the present cathedral, the circumstances, even the selection of the site, I have a problem with it. Do you know that they had completed a number of newly built bungalows for our judges?
Yep.
And I've been told that when those buildings, the judges were ejected and the buildings were demolished, a respected member of the bench resigned. I can't mention the name, but that is the information that I heard, that the person felt so bad that, look, I can't continue to be in this business. All these buildings were demolished. The passport office was demolished. Several other buildings were demolished. The cost of those buildings alone, perhaps, could have even put up the cathedral. And so, somebody was telling me that Ofosu-Ampofo put up one of the biggest basilicas in Yamoussoukro or thereabout in Côte d'Ivoire. What has become of it? So, when we go to Pram Pram, we have large tract of lands there. If you want to build a cathedral and make it as part of the tourism attraction, museum, or whatever you want to do it, you have a large tract of land. You will not disturb anybody. You will not demolish houses. You will not create inconvenience for people. You can build it somewhere else. Create growth posts around those areas, because people can then build restaurants around it. They will build hotels and others around it, because when people want to travel to come and even visit the place, then other businesses can grow around the place. And then you can do those things without creating inconvenience for people. for ourselves. And again, telling us that this cathedral will not be built with state funds, and that it will be contribution from individuals and private sector and others. You see, when you are building a cathedral for God, you don't build it on the foundation of lies, because at least it's a holy temple that you're building for the Lord. And again, our public finance systems are guided by rules, you know, that if you want to do, we have the gift mix system that will dictate how public finance utilization is. It goes about approval processes and so on and so forth. So when you are building something for God, and then it is shrouded in some secrecy, then tomorrow a warrant will appear somewhere, and then some payment has been made, and Parliament is not aware, nobody is aware, then somebody has to come and explain it. It is even an embarrassment to the respected members of the clergy who have volunteered to partner with government to get this edifice. When I read statements from respected clergy like Archbishop Duncan Williams, Reverend Dr. Opunip Frimpong, and others, who are now being quoted as saying that, look, we are doing this thing, we are not going to use public funds, it is private sector, it is churches who are going to contribute, and out of the blue, some documents pops up, and huge sums of money has been released, and perhaps they themselves, it has been done at their blind side. I think that it leaves a very sore taste in our mouth. And then the respected people who are connected, because I don't want to mention them, but we have people who have lived very decent life and rendered meritorious services for the nation and their various congregations. Some of them are on retirement, and they have left huge footprints, you know, become huge mentors for people to follow. And the behavior of this our finance minister, the Piccadilly behavior and others, is creating some challenge for these men of God who have lived a very excellent life, you know, to the admiration of people within and without their congregation. I have a huge problem with it. The lack of transparency and the manner in which the finances of this cathedral is being handled is, to say the least, most unfortunate. And again, we as a country at all times must also look at where our priority lies.
Let's hope that things get better, because definitely every Ghanaian would want a relief. But let me also find out from you. You talk about how your children really stood by you in times of difficulty. Which among your children are following your steps? Farmer, politician?
Well, I have 5 boys.
You must be a strong man.
So I call them the 5BN. 2 of them have started working.
Okay.
And 1 is just finished school. 2 are in 3 are in school.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping that 1 or 2 of them will develop interest. Anyway, 1 of them is a mechanical engineer, 1 is an industrial engineer, so at least as far as the engineering is concerned.
Yeah, you have some people following your steps, but you can see traits.
The politics, 1 of them have shown interest. I remember 1 of them who was at Infancy Film Secondary School, one day wrote a letter to me and asked me to send it to the tourism minister. He is president of a club and want the tourism minister to come and visit the school and visit the club.
Wow.
And when I saw the letter and the way he wrote it, I sent it to the then tourism minister was Madam Elizabeth Ofosu-Ampofo. I said, hey, I read the letter. This your boy. He will step into your shoes because the letter was spiced with a lot of political language. And I said, well, so who knows? Maybe 1 of them. But they are very active and interested in the activities of NDC because right from the childhood, they attend meetings, they try to wear big T-shirts of the NDC to follow me and all those things.
That's
so
nice.
I believe that
they
one
already
or two of
had
them,
orientation.
Yeah.
Well, I must say you look very fit and healthy. I must add that too. What do you do to keep fit?
I take very good care of myself.
I can see that. It's obvious.
Because when I told somebody that if I was in the public service, I'm doing retirement now, they say, wow, which means that
you don't look it.
60 years.
Yeah.
I'm very careful about what I eat, and I do a lot of exercise. I have my gym here.
Okay, I'll get the opportunity to visit that gym today.
I have a trainer.
Okay.
Religious about my training regime.
Okay.
And I do a lot of checkups, preventive medicine. I don't wait until I'm sick.
Very important.
Before I rush to the hospital. So when you come, I have my own, I check my own pressure, I check my own sugar level, I do a few other things to ensure that I am fit. And so I take good care of myself. I try not to eat very heavy in the night.
Okay.
Because our work entails a lot of long sittings. Sometimes our party meetings, sometimes we sit from 2 o'clock and we end around 7 to 8. And when you come home, because of my size, sometimes sleeping without eating becomes a problem.
Okay.
And so if you are not careful, you'll be forced to be eating in order to satisfy the physiological needs of the body. And if you are not careful, that can also land you into trouble. So I try to keep work-life balance and to ensure that I live a very healthy life. I don't drink. I've not tasted alcohol for over 40 years.
Wonderful.
And I do not intend to break that.
Okay.
So I don't take anything alcohol. And if you don't take alcohol, the temptation for you is to take soft drinks and sugary.
A lot of sugary stuff.
I've also tried to restrain myself. And so I don't take those drinks also. Maybe once a while, I take a bottle and then, because you go somewhere and then you will not take beer, you will take Guinness, you won't take anything, and then you sit there and people think that you are anti-so. You take water. And then you take some water. And so once a while, give me a can of malt, and then I'll sit around it for 1 hour. And then I talk less because those who take the other things can talk for hours.
So after all said and done, when you retire in your room, what do you do to relax? Do you listen to music?
I listen to music, and I'm a bit spiritual, you know.
Okay.
I try to commune with my maker.
Okay.
And try and reflect over life. Every day I give thanks to God, because for me, every passing day is a birthday.
Definitely.
God has added another day.
Yeah.
So I try to give thanks to God. I have prayer partners, friends who pray for me regularly. Some of them very regimental. Times that I know that this person will call me around this time, and then we have a prayer session to do. And for me, I'm always in my element when there is praise and worship, and I feel very good in that situation. So I try as much as possible to fellowship in church, but my job takes me out very often. So we do a lot of Zoom service. So I try to switch on to Zoom anytime it's time for service that I miss. Then I'll go on to Zoom, both in the morning and the evening. And even sometimes we have Zoom prayers in the afternoon.
Okay.
I go into my car and spend about 30 minutes. And my pastor will say, hey, Honorable, I saw you. In all this time, you are still able to find some time to go and hide somewhere and participate in the Zoom prayers and others. That has kept us going because we are just surviving by the grace of God.
I guess you listen to gospel music then.
I do, I do.
Which is your favorite?
Oh, of late, I can say that Hamilton.
Okay.
Entry Hamilton.
Okay, Dinah Hamilton.
Dinah Entry Hamilton.
Is it this one?
Adom Praise. Yes, it's one of my favorites because it ties into my lifestyle. That I'm alive because of the grace of God.
Okay.
You turn my pit into a well, so the essence of my praise is centered on your grace.
When you are in the spirit, I'm sure you sing.
Maybe the voice is not too good.
I've been through a lot, but grace sustained me. My chest is now a testimony. So the essence of my praise is centered on your grace. Adom, Wadom. It was you, my lawyer in the courtroom.
So I'm going to court tomorrow.
So the essence of my praise is centered on your grace. Adom, Wadom. Adumo, Yami, Adumo, Adom to me, Wadom to me, for the essence of my praise is centered on your grace. Adom, Wadom. Adumo, Yami, Adumo, Wadom. The essence of my praise is centered on your grace. Adom.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo, for talking to us. It's been great talking to you. It's been a great insight. I've really learned a lot listening to you. Keep up the good work and keep contributing to making Ghana a better place to live. Viewers, thank you so much for watching. My beautiful hair was styled by Rushmore City. Call them on 05582666028. My makeup product are supplied by Ultimate Glamour. Visit them on the Legon campus or call them on 05060122627. Same time next week, another exciting edition of TM Personality Profile awaits you. Don't forget that we'll be going to the gym to do some small exercise. It's a privilege to train with chairman of the NDC.
Hey! Don't sleep, wake up. Collect your money. chef water, the feel when I'm mad. When I land the last of